Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us for Ignite Teachers Toolbox. We are streaming both live here in Zoom and on Facebook at drreyna.com. So Ignite's purpose is to engage in children today for better minds tomorrow. And that's our mission. So part of the mission for Ignite is, and I have a question here for everybody who is listening, if you can reflect within you, why do you think you lost your passion? And that is a question that has been very constant in the education community lately. So why is it important for Ignite that teachers ignite their passion? It is important because if we think back, all the teachers that we remember are those teachers that are passionate about the subject that they're teaching. They're passionate about coming to school and passionate about doing what's important to them. Gisela, would you like to share with us why do you think that it's important for a teacher to have its passion ignited?
Oh, absolutely, because I think passion is contagious, and the more passionate we are about teaching and working with students, our students feel it, and they get that feeling. They're passionate to learn and to work with us. And with the situation we're currently in with COVID-19 and distance learning, it's more important than ever to make sure we're communicating that passion, that excitement, and for lack of a better word, to have the fire under their bellies lighted so that they're excited to learn and participate in school.
Yes, I totally agree. So I'm going to ask you if you're not driving, if you can take a moment and close your eyes and remember when you decided to be a teacher, and everybody else that is listening to with us, please remember of the time when you decided to be a teacher. If you remember that, think of where were you, what were you doing, and who was there with you. Would you like to share, Gisela? Do you remember when you made that decision and how were you feeling at that time?
You know, I think my story was a little different because I didn't plan on being a teacher. I actually found the opportunity to teach by complete accident. But I remember I was young, fresh out of college, and the minute I walked into the classroom, even though I thought it was just going to be a temporary sub, being a substitute teacher, working with those kids, feeling their energy was contagious. And the more they learned, the more I felt motivated to teach. So it was wonderful. I was really in the classroom, walked in thinking it was going to be something I would do in the meantime while I found out what I really wanted to do. And here I am 24, 25 years later, still in this wonderful profession.
Wonderful profession. And so what were people saying? Because we learned that people don't go into teaching because you're planning to get rich. You don't go into teaching because it's the most prestigious career or to make a name for yourself. What were people telling you when you said, I am going to be a teacher? Were they encouraging you or what were they saying?
A little different. You know, I shouldn't say that. My parents really thought that a career was just in the meantime. I could be a doctor, a lawyer, an architect. This was por mientras. And then I discovered when I was a first grade teacher, I would tell people, oh, I'm a teacher. And I would get, oh, how cute. And I would think to myself, you don't tell a doctor how cute when he's a pediatrician. You don't tell an attorney how cute. And different reactions in different positions I would get when I went to middle school or elementary, different reactions. So every time I got something different, or very rarely did I get thank you or, you know, your patience, but different reactions. People, depending where I was at, I would get different reactions from different people.
Right, and that's exactly, I thank you so much for sharing that, because you're right. When you say, I'm a doctor, they say, wow, oh, you're a pediatrician, oh, you're making a difference in the world. And in my opinion, teachers are the ones that make the biggest impact in our humanity. In our kids, you're molding minds, you are educating our kids for tomorrow. And so yes, I totally agree. Sometimes you say, I am a high school teacher, and they say, I'm so sorry for you, you know, instead of saying, thank you for putting up with my child.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, thank you so much. And so then it's like, this is the other question that I always ask, why do you make the decision to become a teacher? And thank you, Gisela, for sharing that, your experience. And so for whoever else that's on the line and it's watching this replay, share in the chat box if you can, why you decided to be a teacher. You've already heard a little bit of an example of what we shared. And because all of our journeys are different, we all have different journeys in our life, and we come to a profession by different means. I came into the administration position in the education system also by accident. I didn't intend it to be here. When I became an accountant, I never thought that I would be working for an education agency, and that I would be working with the school district, and that I would be working with teachers. But it just came. So I appreciate all your comments. I appreciate all the time that you're taking to share. I really appreciate it. So now I am going to ask you to look at the camera or say it with your most positive voice. I am the best teacher this school has. Can you say that to me, Gisela?
I am the best teacher this school has.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much. So I'm going to tell you all a story, and all of you, thank you so much for affirming that you are the best teacher this school has. Once upon a time, there was a brand new teacher, and this new teacher had her or his heart filled with emotions because it was going to be the very first day of school. And if you remember, how do you feel the very first day that you became a teacher, that you enter into a classroom, that you walked in there and you say, this is my home. This is what I want to be. This is the feeling that I want to get every day from my career. So the first time that a student connected with you, the first time that you saw the spark in their eyes, and the student called you teacher, right? If you can share with me in the chat box, and if you don't mind, Gisela, if you want to share, how did that feel? You already shared a little bit, but if you want to add a little bit more, how did that make you feel the very first time?
You know, it felt really good, to be honest with you, and it gave me self-purpose in my career. It motivated me. If I could spark that on one student, I could spark it in others. And I think it's reciprocal, because the more sparkles I saw, the better teacher I wanted to be, because it really felt great to be able to do that.
Yes, definitely. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing. Thank you, all the ones that are putting your comments in here. I can't read all of the Facebook comments going on, but we will all get to it, and we all will learn from all of our experiences. So thank you so much for sharing. Okay, so now I'm telling all of you who are watching and listening, you are the best teacher this school has, and this country has, because you are there. You're igniting the passion for everyone. So thank you so much for sharing this little piece with me. So now we're gonna go on and share with you how to enhance your message and improve your understanding with the proper use of visual aids and the techniques that Ignite has come up with from other teachers. And all of our meetings and all of our research, we have come up with different things and how to make our classrooms compelling and productive. So the reason why Ignite came with these techniques is to help teachers with student engagement. And in education, student engagement refers to the degree of attention, curiosity, interest, optimism, and passion that students show when they are learning or being taught by you, the teacher. And so there are 5 levels of engagement, and I'm not gonna go over them because you guys know, all of you teachers, all of the educators that have come to this, that you already know. Then that's why you're here, because you are passionate about being able to pass on your message. When you teach, you want the teachers to get what you're teaching. And like Gisela was saying, we are the more we see that spark, the more that we want to be better teachers. So, but the question is, how do we increase student engagement? And so here in Zoom, I know that my Facebook peeps might not be able to see it, but here in Zoom, we have a student that it's set up. It has a desk, computer, folders, pencils, designated area. It seems quiet. And still we see that this student is not being engaged. This is our model student. We see the teacher on the other side, and these are some pictures that somebody shared with me to share with you. And our students are right there, and you see it in the little faces. They're all confused. Some have their hands on their head, some have their hands on their cheeks. They're not being engaged. They probably have no idea, and some have completely blocked the camera, which is completely normal. So this is one of our presentations with all of our teachers, and this is how everybody should be. Everybody should be engaged, sharing, and being there with you, right? So how does a teacher prepare his or her classroom for learning? That is the question. I am here to tell you that communication as we know it has evolved. Communication now has become a communication 2.0. And so we have prepared 3 different techniques to help you engage your students. One is breathing, moving, and the use of visual aids. So the first one is to have breathing exercises with our students. I think I lost mine here. Okay. So we're gonna do, let's see if I lost mine. So I don't know if you are able to hear the music, but we're gonna ask you to practice with your students some breathing techniques that is going to help them. As soon as you start your class, you're gonna ask them to breathe in when they put their fingers in and out as they touch the tip of their fingers out. And if you can't participate, try to do the breathing with me. We're only gonna do a couple. In, out, in, out. As they are breathing, ask them to think about something that makes them happy. It can be, and you can think of something that makes you happy as well. It can be just a beautiful sunrise, the beautiful view outside your window. You're able to move your hands, to see your children, to see your parents, whatever makes you happy or brings a smile to your face. As they're thinking of that thing that makes them happy, you're gonna tell them what's the outcome for the day. Our outcome for today is that we're gonna learn 3 techniques: breathing, movement, and the use of visual aids to engage our children across the screen. In your case, when you're giving directions to your kids, you can say, today we're gonna learn about addition. At the end of this day, you'll be able to add and subtract with no problem. Okay, and so thank you so much for participating in the breathing. I was going to stay there for longer. I just like, and to have all this oxygen back into my head. So this is called breathing priming or finger breathing. Some teachers have moved it to be yoga. So they do some yoga movements instead of the finger breathing. The point is to have move their body, and at the same time that they're moving their body, they are moving, connecting the brain as they're breathing. And so why deep breathing? There are multiple studies about the benefits of deep breathing, but we're gonna focus on one from MIT that says that breathing boosts oxygen levels in the brain. The oxygen level in the brain, the higher the oxygen level in the brain, the better you can focus and stay alert. Also, early childhood IE says that movement supports literacy and a whole bunch of other benefits that our children get when they do deep breathing. When we have our children in our classroom, they have a controlled environment. They're able to teach. But when they are at their homes, sometimes they don't have that. So by us having this little exercise in the beginning of the class, we are able to kind of trap their attention on us. And so with that, they can start. So we have already established that children need movement to develop balance. So would you think that that's like a quick exercise, Gisela, that you can do with your kids at the beginning of the class?
Oh, absolutely. I can even do it myself with them. It'll help both of us. And probably parents if they're watching, just to different skills that they can apply at home as well.
Definitely, thank you. Yes, I never thought about the parents, but you're right, because the parents are also dealing with their children and the frustrations of virtual learning. So by them breathing that gives them also a little bit of endorphins into their brain when they think of this, something that makes them happy. They see that not everything is blue and doom, right? Okay, so this is just an addition. Some of our teachers have been using the hand signals for meaningful discussions. So in Zoom background to help students communicate with them. So this is what some of the teachers have used this in the back because they like to have all of their students in the screen so they can see everyone at the same time. And they have been using it. This is a chart that one of our teachers showed, just what she did to communicate with her students. So that way she didn't have to have the noise on, because by having everybody's microphone on, she was getting a lot of noise and was getting a lot of headaches and it was not working out. And so she came up with this. This is what she uses for her students to communicate across the screen. You can create your own or just use something similar to this. So children need movement to develop balance, and we know that. So we know that our students use music on a regular basis. If we have high school students, we see that all of our high school students have their headphones plugged into their ear. They're listening to music all the time. They're working and listening to music at the same time, and that's how they focus, right? So why not use that thing that they are already doing and that they're passionate about? They're passionate about listening to their music. They have their favorite music that they listen to, and it's pretty much the same when students. So one of the ideas that we are bringing forth here in Ignite is to use alarms throughout your day, of however long your day is. For some teachers, it's 4 hours. For some teachers, it's 6 hours. Some have 2. Some have interactive periods. Some of our teachers do tutoring, so they have shorter periods of time. But by setting up an interrupted alarm that plays the music that you know your student likes, it's a great tool to bring that student back into into your attention, into the classroom. And so so when the first alarm sounds, and I just put this one in here so you can have it like every 20 minutes an alarm comes on, and it's just like a couple of seconds, like 30 seconds of music. And when the first music comes, you ask them, okay, it's time to do jumping jacks. When the second alarm comes, it says, okay, put your books down and let's touch our toes. And so then they touch their toes, or okay, this is another one, let's move around, create space. This is actually also really good if you are in a physical classroom, because when you are asking them to stretch their hands and move, if they are touching a student, that means that they're too close to each other. So this is also a really good thing to do if you are in the classroom. Or the other one is like run in place. You know, that's gonna make them breathe some more oxygen into the brain. And then another one, clap. So you can come up with whatever movement you have. When they're home, the little music comes on. And so then I'm gonna, and so then that's, you know, that is the point. The point is that you have the music. So this is a screenshot from one of my groups as they are doing, as we were doing the interrupt breaks. And so in our interrupt breaks here, we see that one of our person over here has an emoji that is presenting. Some other people have 3 more people join them. We see right here is the parent is sitting down, is like just like really upset, but the student in the back, it's moving, it's dancing, and that is the opportunity for them to turn on their camera. Especially our higher grades don't want to be seen, but you know, when they want to show off their moves, when they want to show off that they're doing something, they will turn the camera on. And so then that's your opportunity to have them show their camera. So what do you think about this, Gisela? Do you think that having little breaks of interrupted music would help?
I think so. Just like us, when we're sitting too long in our desk, we need to get up and stretch. I think this is great. Releases some tension, get some left brain, right brain movement going, and get some back focus, a little stretch break, and get back able to focus again.
Yes, yes, I absolutely agree. And that for me, it's like I even have like a stand-up desk sometimes because like sometimes I can't be sitting down for too long, especially if you're gonna be like reading and doing a lot of those things. And this is not new. This is not new because all of our teachers throughout, you know, all the time that I worked with teachers, they always are looking for how to have their students moving. In this particular classroom, in the past, they have asked for stand-up desk. Why did you ask for stand-up desk? It's because you want your students moving. You want their blood going. So you've always required students to move when they ask a question or when they answer a question. You've asked them, write the answer on the whiteboard and show it. Come to the front. When you're done, bring your work to the front. Not because you can't go and get it, because you want your students to be moving. And so with that in mind, it's how we came up with to have this ideas of movement, incorporating music that they like so that they can participate. And that is a perfect opportunity to provide feedback to our students. Our students love feedback from the teacher. I don't know if you have experienced this, Gisela, or how, when you give a student feedback, what is the response that you get from them?
You know, it really depends because with distance learning, it's very hard for them to respond. Like you said, they turn off the camera. With everybody on, somebody else will answer. So it's very difficult with distance learning. But in the classroom, obviously, when given feedback, when it's positive with smiles and whatnot, they want to please you, they want to do better. But with distance learning, that's been the challenging of them to respond and participate because of the cameras being off. There's that barrier between us and them working, connecting. So that's been one of the challenges I think we as teachers have faced this with this distance learning.
Yes, I definitely agree. So we're gonna move on to visual aids has now evolved, like we said, communication 2.0. Now we have to ask the question, show the written question, ask the question again. Okay, so that's kind of like have evolved in a little bit. In the beginning, when Ignite first started to share ideas with the teachers, we came up with a lot of different ways to create emojis. So we created emojis, we printed them out, we send them to the students, and we encountered another problem. Not all of our students have the ability to print, they don't have a printer. Their parents can come and pick up their stuff so that they wouldn't have the emojis. They have siblings, they destroy their emojis. So the response was no good. So we came out with something totally different. Whenever teachers came out with the idea and say, okay, you know, we're not going to use emojis. We're going to go and ask our students to go and find something red and something green. And so then why red and green, you say? Okay, because when you have your students, you can ask questions. You can have everybody on your screen, all your 30 or how many students you have in your screen. And when you ask a question, you can ask a question and say, is this true? Yes, they lift up their green thing that they find. If they say it's false, they can raise the red thing that they find. And it doesn't matter what it is. They can come and say, okay, red, I have this little thingy that is red. It's like my sticky notes is red. And then they said, okay, green. Oh, I have another pen that is green. I can use this. And that's easier on the eyes for you when you're asking a question. So if you ask, today is Friday, and you go like, today is not Friday, right? So then you're able to see it right away rather than to be reading on the side who said yes, who said no, who is this, who didn't answer. Like you say, they don't have their cameras on. For this, they're gonna want to have their cameras on. They need to have their cameras on because they need to answer with the thing that they have in their hand. And most likely they will want to share what they have found because you'll say, oh, how creative. You found a chopstick that has green, and they all want that positive feedback from the teacher. Even if it has nothing to do with what they're learning, they'll be just like super excited that you are acknowledging that they were extremely creative. That they had found something that it's the color. So for now, I only found this too, but they're gonna be thinking about how to find something red or something green to come and share in their class. So you will be in their minds even after the class is over, because they'll want to share with you whatever it is that they have. And if you are able to create emojis for them, then you can always like create them and send them to them so that they can use them in the class. And so this one is a red, this one is a red, so they can use this as a no, and this one is a yes, right? You can always use always the traditional thumb up, thumb down, but that's a little bit more difficult to see in the screen as it is to find something red or something green. So what do you think about that, Gisela? About finding something red or something green with to use as a response for test or anything like that?
No, I think it's a great idea. It's something fun. It makes it a little bit different. You can see how creative the kids are, and I'm sure it'll we'll share a good laugh with some of the things some of the kids come up with, and we'll say, "Why didn't I think of that?" So I think it's a wonderful idea.
Yes, as long as they don't bring anything appropriate, but we can always say, find something else, please.
That's true.
Yes, and so and in going into our higher grades, we encounter that a lot of our higher grades are losing the social connection. As we know, middle school and high school students go to school to socialize. That's where they talk to people. That's where they interact with others. They have their own groups of people. If they're choir, they talk to their choir, sports, the intellectuals. So in order for us to create this new process, they have come up with the idea of having Zoom backgrounds. And by having a Zoom background, the student now is able to hide what's in their homes. A lot of times we found out that they don't want to show their face because they don't want to show you their messy room, their house, their siblings fighting in the back. They might even be at a outside of a restaurant, as we have seen, that people go outside restaurants to kind of get the Wi-Fi so that they can be in school. By them having a virtual background with a color that you assign to them, they will be more likely to show their face, and you will have them there. At the same time, the social connection will be, for example, here we have Ariane, Kelly, Carlos, and this other person right here that I cut out the name. They are all blue teal. They're part of this group. And so when you're telling them, okay, guys, you're gonna work together, you get the break rooms, and you assign them together, they get to know each other, they have their connection. So then from there, you are establishing that connection. And when they go back to the physical classroom, maybe Ariana and Carlos would have never met. They would have never met in the social, in the regular school classroom. But now, because you have created these groups, you have made connections. And so that's something good that can come out of this virtual learning. We have to make the best that we can with what we have. And if we are able to enhance their connections and their social life, in my opinion, it's something good that can come out of this virtual learning, because they will say, how did you meet? Oh, I met, through virtual learning. We were in the same class here and there. If you ask them right now, when they don't have anything that connect them, they see each other in there, or you may only see the name. You will never see their faces. So that's one of the things that have been very successful. And this is just an idea of how one of the teachers put it in. She just used the same color and move it in different ways in a rhythm, by name, by grade, or for whatever it's like they created it. So there's many different ways. Like I said, this is not, Ignite is not trying to say we are solving the situation, but we want to be part of the solution. We want to be a part and share everything that is working out from some teachers, and it might work for the rest of us. So would you like to share, Gisela, if you think that using this virtual backgrounds in the back would help us bring our students back and turn on their cameras?
I think that's a really good idea, and I hadn't thought about that. And you're right. We talk about the kids having the cameras off, and I think something as simple as that will have them more engaged, and you could get more creative as you get more comfortable with different backgrounds. So thank you for sharing that. I think that's a great idea.
Yes, you're welcome. And also one of the teachers had them create their own background. I am not that techie, I'm not that technology, but they have some students that are really good at creating backgrounds, and they created their own mascot, they created their own name, like Team Refrigerator or Team A or Team Mountain or whatever team they wanted to become. And so and for our teacher that shared this idea with us, like right here we see this were like the Centurions. I think that's the name, that's their school, and so they use that logo and that color for them to be that. And so then that way they are no longer ashamed of sharing their homes, or sharing, especially if they have like a whole bunch of siblings that are jumping all over the place, or we don't know their situations. We just want to make sure that they turn on their camera and that they share with us what they're doing. Okay, so we're at the end of Ignite, our short presentation here. This is just the beginning. I know that more strategies can be developed beyond what has been presented here. Our teachers are so intelligent. They are so, Gisela and all of our teachers that have joined us. You have received so much professional development. You've taught for so many years. You have this big toolbox of ideas. And I think that by you sharing and by all of our teachers sharing these ideas, we can come out even stronger from this virtual learning. And even if that one little piece, as easy as creating a virtual background, can turn on the camera and the student can know that it's not alone. There's more people. And then he can develop that connection. Okay, I'm part of this blue team and this is my team. I'm not alone here fighting the virus and fighting the restrictions and fighting being in virtual learning, not having graduation, not participating in everything that traditionally we do, can help all of our teachers here. Ignite has created a Facebook group where you can come to collaborate and innovate. And in my opinion, this Facebook group is priceless because I get so much passion and so much love that is shared with all of our teachers. I invite you to please join in. And this Facebook group was created with the intention to connect with teachers in the community. In this group, we receive feedback, support, and guidance, and we all work together to help each other. Okay, so I encourage you to please share your voice. Our teachers, our parents, our students want to hear from you. So please share this story with us. And so what's next with Ignite? In our interviews with our different teachers, we have discovered that there is a lot of technology literacy. There's a need for technology literacy with our kids. Some of our kids literally do not know what's an inbox, what's an upload, what's a download, and they need information about that. So Ignite is working on creating a course that is going to make it super easy to teach all these basics to our students. We think that because they have a cell phone in their hand all the time, and they have a laptop, and they have all the technology, they know how to use it for education, but they do not. And that's a shocking surprise. That was a shocking surprise to me when even my own son had some technology literacy and all the help that he needed just to get the class going. And they are not going to be brave enough, I think, to acknowledge that they are not learning and they do not know. I don't know if you want to share, Gisela, if you have seen any of this technology literacy in your groups.
Sorry, I couldn't unmute. No, of course, I've seen technology issues with students, but also with teachers as well. Sometimes we face some challenges too. And just as we expect patience from the students and our parents, we need to give it to them too. And maybe some digital literacy classes, or we can teach things like what you said, some of those basics, inboxes, outboxes, how to highlight text, how to scroll, and even how to share some of those documents, because it's an ongoing thing and things continuously change with the resources they give us.
Yes, I totally agree. And that has been definitely a challenge. And so that's what Ignite, that's our next course that we're gonna be doing. We're gonna be launching some technology literacy courses that are like super simple, super easy. It's not gonna take a lot of time. Something that they can easily go and find and see, so that we can ensure the success for our students. So we're gonna have another session for questions and answers. If you have any questions, any answers, feel free to check out drreyna.com or email me or call me. Yes, that is my cell phone. You can call me. Feel free to call me at any time. I'm available to help. That is my passion. I'm part of your team. I am on your court. If I can help you in any way, I am more than happy to go. I've gone to some of your classrooms to help, to share my experience, to talk on anything. I am bilingual, so I volunteer with a lot of my Spanish teachers to go in and share my story and just talk to them on whatever topic you want me to talk. So from all of our teachers, we thank you. Thank you, all of our educators for teaching. Thank you, Gisela, for being a teacher, for being there and for sharing with all of our students. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Have a great day and happy Thanksgiving, everyone, if you do celebrate it. Gracias.
Gracias. So don't leave me, Gisela. I'm gonna stop this.